Pam again, and welcome to our last session of what's been 8 weeks worth of wellbeing programs. If you've missed any of them so far, check out Active Community's YouTube channel. They're all on there, okay? So by now, you'll know just how important I think it is for people to really understand themselves, how they feel about things, how it affects them, being that little detective of your own life. Well, today's session is where developing your detective skills will really come into play, because today we're going to be talking about how your head can be your worst nightmare because of negative thoughts, playing games and bullying you. So before we start looking at this, did you know that we have between 70,000 and 100,000 thoughts a day? Now, these thoughts help us interpret the world around us. They try and help us describe what's happening, and we're trying to make sense of everything. The sights, the sounds, the smells, the feelings. But these are thoughts, are not statements of fact. So don't believe everything you think. Which is really good advice, since 85% of your daily thoughts are negative. So how do thoughts work, and why are they so negative? Well, in terms of cognitive behavioural therapy, it's not the event or the situation that causes our emotional or behavioural reaction, but the meaning that we give it. So basically what we think about an event or a situation. So why do we do this? Well, our experiences, our upbringing, culture, religious beliefs, family values, all of these give us a unique way of how we see the world and how we interpret and experience situations differently. Have you ever watched a film with a group of friends and each one of you has had a different view on it? Well, that's because we all have different experiences that have affected us and how we see something, and again, how we attach meaning to something. And these thoughts result in a physical or emotional reaction. So remember, how you think affects how you feel, which affects how you behave. We also have what's called automatic thoughts. And since these can be words or an image or a memory, even a physical sensation or an imagined sound. Now, we tend to automatically believe our thoughts, and we never really question them. So for example, we might be driving and a driver cuts you off, and you judge that driver and you think, how selfish are they? But actually, it could be that they're driving like that because their partner is rushed into hospital. But we've made a judgment. And the important thing here is to remember that thoughts are not necessarily true, accurate, or even helpful. They are based on emotion rather than the facts. So don't believe everything you think. Where our little detective comes into force is to start watching out for these automatic thoughts, because these are also based on our unhelpful thinking habits. Now, there's a lot of these, but I'm going to give you a couple of examples. Are you only ever seeing the bad stuff in life? Do you only focus on stuff you think you can't do? Are you ignoring all the good stuff that you can do? Well, if you've answered yes, then your unhelpful thinking pattern is called a mental filter. Or do you find yourself with other people and start to think, I bet they think I'm stupid for asking that question. Or he's just made up an excuse to leave our chat because he thinks I'm boring. Well, you, my friend, are a mind reader. You think you know what people are thinking and what they're saying about you. And guess what? Remember that 85% of your thoughts are negative. All of these mind reading thoughts are going to be negative. Do you find yourself thinking, I should do this, I must do that, and then feeling really bad about yourself when you haven't done the should or the must? Well, if you have, then you're trapped in the unhelpful thinking habit of the shoulds and the musts, both of which add a huge amount of pressure to you. So I don't know about you, but my little detective picked up on a really important clue in those examples. Something they all have in common. Yeah, you think something. Now, most of these are automatic negative thoughts, are unhelpful. They're traps that we get stuck into. So how on earth do we get out of these? Well, it takes time, because these are habits that have been built up over a long period of time. And they can seem really hard to break. But the important thing here to remember is that you can break them. Just eat an apple. By that, I mean acknowledge. Notice and acknowledge the thought that comes to your mind. Take a pause. Don't react like you would normally do. Just sit, and you got it. Breathe. Pull back. Tell yourself, is this just anxiety or depression talking? And this thought and feeling is only that. It's a thought or a feeling. Don't believe everything you think. Thoughts are not statements of fact. Let go. Let go of the thought or the feeling. It will pass. You don't have to respond to them. Now, you might imagine them floating away in a bubble or a cloud, but just let them go. And explore. Explore the present moment, because right now, in this moment, everything is okay. Again, notice your breathing and the sensations of those breathing. Notice the ground beneath you. Look around. Notice what you see. What can you hear? What can you touch? And what do you smell right now? And right now, what are you doing? What's going on? Then shift your focus or your attention to something else, on what you need to do, on what you were doing just before you noticed the worry, or do something else. Mindfully do something different with your full attention. Now, that might be getting up and moving around, or it might just be sitting. Now, I really hope you've enjoyed this series of Wellbeing Chats. And as I say, if you've missed any of them, please check out the Active Communities YouTube site, subscribe, and you'll get access to them all. Hopefully things will get back to normal as soon as they can. Until then, keep safe, look after one another, keep talking, and more importantly, keep listening to each other. Take care. Bye.